Hi, I'm Barry and Brandon, and I'm back again to talk about stranded colorwork knitting. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, this is the second of the trilogy of weaving in yarns from using the various methods by moving your hands. It is also the 11th of episode of Stranded Colorwork Knitting Discussion. So this one we're going to talk about, when you hear people who are doing Fair Isle work, stranded color work, and you know, if you've been listening to me, that you have color work, you have stranded work, which is a form of color work, so sometimes that's called stranded color work, and then below the stranded work are the various other types of stranded work. One of those is Fair Isle. So it's not really fair to call all the stranded color work Fair Isle, because that's not true. But that being said, sorry, I digress. I just feel like I have to say it every so often. But though you hear people who are doing this kind of work and they go, oh, I'm done, but I have, a million ends to weave in. And yes, you do. There's a way, and we're going to talk about it right now, is a way to weave in those ends as you go. Do you have to do this? No, you don't. You can just weave in all the ends at the end, and it's not that big a deal. You put on a movie, you get your tapestry hook, your tapestry needle, or in my case, you get a crochet hook, and you just weave them in. But this is another way. I like to use this because what it does is what we're going to talk about is weaving in a new yarn that, say that you're on, say, round 20, whatever. And on round 21, you actually add another, you drop one color and you add another color. And what you're going to do is you're going to add that new color in at the end of round 20. And then you're going to take the color you're not going to use in round 21. You're going to weave it, I call it weave it out. I don't think that's a term, but anyway, secure it as you were starting the next round around. The next round. So what that means is that you're going to use some of the very same techniques. So let's look at a little clip of weaving in using that turning your hand just slightly to actually secure that new color before you even need it. It's all secured kind of in the back. So for the last couple of stitches or so, you'll see in the video I say 6 stitches. The last couple of stitches or so, you are juggling 3 different colors, but just for those 6 stitches. Okay, let's take a look. All right, now we're going to weave in a 3rd color. So just before the end of the round, you can see this is the beginning of the round here, right in here. I came around, I'm getting toward the end of the round. I don't know whether you can see that, but I've got 6 extra stitches. So in those 6 stitches, we're going to add the orange yarn. So you treat that one as if it's your left hand color. So what I did is I laid it down just like I had done when you add a new yarn, add the first, second color of yarn. Just put it down, go around the back of it, make your stitch, knit one more, and that locks it in. And then for the next couple of stitches, even no matter what my pattern is, I go behind the orange yarn for one, and then I'll knit one more, locking it in. So by the time you get to the end of your round, that orange yarn is pretty much all locked in. You can see the back, how it's all sort of woven in back there. So you can see it is, it's not that difficult. I mean, you just kind of substitute, the new color, in this case the orange color, for the green, I guess it was the green color. You substitute one in and then just kind of secure it as you're going along. Now, a lot of times I will get excited and keep going, and I'll get all the way to the end of the round, and then I'll check to see whether I need to add any new colors. And if I do, then I'll have to end up unknitting, tinking, if you will, back about 4, 5, 6 stitches just to add that in. And it's kind of like, ugh, if I had just checked. So what I'm taking to now is I'm taking to putting a stitch marker of a different type, different color, different something, about 6 or 8 stitches before the end of the round. So when I hit that stitch marker, that's my indication that I need to look to see whether I need to add any new colors on this next round coming up. Okay? I think we talked about that with when we talked about markers, but just it pays to say it again. You'll see kind of why it makes sense now. So, and that is a good way to do it. And sometimes if I don't have a different stitch marker, if I have a locking stitch marker, I can take the locking stitch marker and put it onto a regular, just, ring stitch marker. So it kind of just gives it a different sort of a look to indicate either that's the one I use for the beginning of the round, or it's the one I use to say, check to see whether you need any new colors this round. Okay? So now you have 3 colors. Now, granted, you're only juggling them for 6 or 8 stitches, 4 stitches, whatever. But you still got to figure out, you don't need, regular stranded colorwork, fair isle work, you typically only use 2 colors per round. So what you've got to end up doing is, now you've got the color that you are not going to use any longer when you finish that round. So what you end up doing is that you slip the marker at the beginning of the round, and you start working on the two new colors. Hopefully, if your designer's good, there'll only be 1 new color per each. When you add new colors, you only add 1 at a time. Sometimes it's 2, but anyway. So what you're doing, let's just say you've now got 3 colors. You've got the color that's remaining from the round before. You've got the new color you just added at the end of the previous round, and you've got the old color that you're not gonna. Now it's the old color that you're not going to need anymore. So what you're going to need to do is secure that but as you start that first round. So let's take a look and see what that looks like. All right, now we're going to start. Now, according to my chart, I lose the green on this round. So, and if I was really clever, I could have possibly twisted around and gotten that green woven in one more round, one more stitch, close to the end of the round. But I'm just going to make sure I got plenty of leeway, plenty of slack, so it'll not ruin my tension. So I'm going to go in here and knit. Let's see, let's get that straightened out so everything's in the right spot. Underneath all of those, okay. So I can knit, it doesn't matter which one you knit now, but I'm going to knit the purple. And what I'm doing is I am sort of working in, weaving in the green as I go. Behind the green, just like I was doing with the orange earlier, behind the green, I can knit 1 more, and if I have to knit it with purple, I will. And as you get there, you will see, as you can see what I'm doing, I'm just kind of weaving in the green. When I get there, after the first, say, 6 stitches, that green is woven in, and now I can break this off, and it's very little weaving in of ends at the end because I've woven the old color out. I can break that, and the new color has come in on the round before. So now I can get ready to work. Okay, in spite of having some tangled threads in there, you saw I was, everybody does it. You have to kind of figure out as you start each round, kind of make sure all the threads, all the working yarns are in the right place. So what happens is it's the same thing. You just use that same sort of rocking of motion. I got something in my lap. So rocking of motion to catch whatever yarn it is. In this case, it's the green yarn you're trying to catch with either the purple or the orange. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to go around it and jam it up between the work and the working yarn. And then when you've done that for, after 4, 5, 6, 8 stitches, you can then cut it. And then it's done. And you don't have to. And there's some people who say, it's all woven in. I'm going to trim it to within 1/4 of an inch and it's done. Do I do that? No. I end up leaving about that much, 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches maybe. And then I'll come back in with a crochet hook, not a tapestry needle, but a crochet hook. And then just flip those, just reach underneath a purl bump or a float, in the back, and then catch those ends real quickly. It goes very fast. But it's kind of a belt and suspenders thing. I catch it, weave it in as I'm working it, because that gives me a good tension to work with on each round. But I also will catch it with the crochet hook at the end. And have I, with real rustic yarns, the Shetland yarn, some of the Scandinavian yarns, some of the British yarns, it just depends. You can, they've got enough grip to them that you don't really have to work in too far, because they're practically felt themselves as as you're working with them. So it's, in that case, it's not quite as crucial. But if you're working with something that's a little more slippery, you might want to start weaving that in instead of 6 or 8 stitches, maybe 10 or 12 inches, and just catch it 2 or 3 places before you knead it at the end of the round, and then do the same at the beginning of the round with the old color. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So next time we're going to talk about that. This is episode 11 we're working on right now. For episode 12, we're talking about going around corners. And as I said, I'll just leave it at that. It's weaving in stitches as you go around corners. So there you go. Thanks, guys. Again, I'm Barry and Brandon. You can find me at just about all the usual places. My website is brandonknittingdesigns.com. I am Barry and Brandon on Ravelry, on YouTube, as you see here, on Instagram. I'm Brandon Knitting Designs on Facebook. It's a whole long story why they're all different, but that's just the way it is. So anyway, I think I've told that story before. I'll spare you to tell it to you again. So anyway, you guys take care, enjoy your knitting, stay safe, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.